Now, The Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Welcome in. Hunt Palmer coming to you from the Raising Cane's studio downtown in the capital city on this Monday. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Appreciate you hanging out with us here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Got Jordan Kitchens, Cassie Spazzali back there on the ones and twos. Fired up you are here with us. Plenty to do over the course of the next 2 hours. We've got our college football playoff bracket set. We will dive into that. LSU basketball played horrendously yesterday. We will dive into that. The Saints did not play horrendously yesterday. We'll dive into that. Denton Day with us in an hour and a half talking national college football stories and plenty more. So let's crank things up. I want to start basically kind of where we left off on Friday with this show. At that point, Lamar Brown had just sent his paperwork in. So really the only drama surrounding LSU and what was a drama-filled week with a new coach, a new press conference, National Signing Day, the whole deal, the only drama was kind of surrounding Blake Baker at that point. And we knew that Tulane had a game on Friday night, and I kind of felt like just my read of the situation, not anything that was sourced, not anything that was concrete, but just kind of a feeling, was that Tulane would play. They would likely win on their home field against North Texas. They would clinch a playoff spot, and the next day, Blake Baker would become their next head coach. I thought Saturday was a target for that. Well, that didn't happen. I was wrong. I was completely wrong. I thought Blake Baker would be the next Tulane head coach. It came out Friday evening. Blake Baker intends to stay at LSU. And it surprised me. It did. Like, obviously, I told you time and time again last week that I thought that it was going to be time for Blake Baker to move on. I gave you all the reasons why I thought it made so much sense for him. It's his alma mater. He continues to recruit a state that he's recruited in a lot. He's had 2 stints at LSU, had a stint at Louisiana Tech. His wife is from Baton Rouge, went to LSU. And so you can see why it would make a lot of sense to go coach at a place that won a lot of games, has a great recruiting base, has an infrastructure already in place that the last 2 coaches have done a great job with. It just felt right. It felt like the job he would take. And he didn't. And all that stuff I laid out from a football perspective makes all the sense in the world. It does. But what I did not account for was the answer that Blake Baker gave the off-the-bench guys this morning when he joined them on their show. And they asked him kind of what went into the decision. And Baker was very candid, very honest. Said, look, got 3 kids, 10, 8, and 6. And we sat down and we talked and just didn't feel like a time to move. And you consider what the Baker family has done the last 6 years. He was on staff at Miami. He left Miami to come take the LSU job in 2021. So that's one move. You move from LSU then in 2022 to Missouri. That's a second move. And then after 2 years at Missouri, you move back to LSU. That's a third move in 5 years. And then he would have been on staff for 2 years at LSU and move again. Would have been a fourth move in 6 years. And his family decided that wasn't best. And that's something that I could not have accounted for. Like, I don't know the Baker family. Interviewed Blake a few times from pregame show. Great guy. Very much enjoyed it. Don't know the Baker family. Did not know that the home front was going to make this decision easier for him. And it did. And he told the guys on off the bench again today that he kind of envisions himself, he used this word, on the Kirby Smart plan, where you are a defensive coordinator at a power school and you go become a head coach at another power school. And we've seen that all over the country. Dan Lanning went from the Georgia defensive coordinator to the Oregon head coach. Marcus Freeman was the Notre Dame defensive coordinator, became the Notre Dame head coach. This year, Will Stein was the Oregon defensive coordinator, Kentucky head coach. Mentioned Kirby Smart. Ryan Day was the offensive coordinator at Ohio State, becomes the head coach at Ohio State. That's the plan Blake Baker sees himself on. And so while this news is very, very good for LSU's 2026 football team, Blake Baker being the defensive coordinator. I actually think from listening to this interview that he did this morning on OTB and then analyzing the situation, this feels like a big thing for LSU's football program moving forward in the Lane Kiffin era. Because I don't know how close Blake Baker is to getting a Power 5 head coaching job. Maybe really close, maybe not. And to get there, he's going to have to continue to put great defenses on the field. And I don't know if this LSU defense was great. It was certainly good. I would suggest certainly very good. I don't know if it was great. They got torched by Texas A&M. They got torched by Vanderbilt. They were on the field too much, but Lane Kiffin had his way with them in Oxford as well. There were some games against good offensive teams where they weren't great. But when you put into context where they came from under Baker and where they are today, undoubtedly he's done a very, very good job at LSU. And for him to take that jump that he's suggesting he wants to take, they're going to have to get better. Because I would submit that, like, there will be a G5 job that comes open next year that could want Blake Baker. But he's telling you, based on not moving his family and wanting to take the next power job, that he's not going to jump for those. And I honestly can't think of two significantly better G5 jobs than Memphis and Tulane. Like, they're in big metropolitan cities. They've won a lot of games. Their coaches are at Florida and Florida State and Arkansas, Houston as well. Like, those are really good G5 jobs that he just turned down. One's his alma mater. So I think it's reasonable to suggest that Blake Baker has some more time here in Baton Rouge. And by more time, I don't mean 11 more months. I think he's going to be Lane Kiffin's defensive coordinator for a little bit, unless he just puts a dominant defense out there next year and then moves on. But this, to me, is a part of the program now. Blake Baker's a part of the program now. And what do we talk about when you hired Lane Kiffin? When you hire Lane Kiffin, he takes care of the offense. He is not coordinator dependent on offense, but he very much is on defense. When he got to Ole Miss, his first year in 2020, quite literally, Ole Miss had the second worst statistical defense in the FBS. There was one team worse out of 127. They were 126th in defense. Like, almost the worst. And it took him a while. They weren't very good the next year. And then he got Pete Golding to come in, and they went to the transfer portal and got a bunch of players, and that defense became one of the best units in the SEC. But Kiffin's dependent on getting that coordinator to control that side of the ball. He's got the offense. He needs help on defense. And Baker's the help. And not only does Blake Baker come back to LSU, but they're working through the details to keep Corey Raymond at LSU, and to keep Jake Olson at LSU, and to keep Kevin Peoples at LSU. And you've hired Elijah Robinson to be the defensive line coach. And all of a sudden, you've got the sure thing in Lane's offense. That's already there. And now you're keeping stability on the defensive side of the ball with the staff you really trust, that's got some continuity together, that just signed a monster defensive class. Like, this is a very, very encouraging thing for LSU's football program to have Blake Baker remain, because you kind of know what you have in Baker. He's essentially, at this point, 4 years as an SEC coordinator, 2 Missouri, 2 LSU. He's proven himself to put good defenses on the field in the Southeastern Conference. 2 different stops, 2 different stints. Yeah, he's a pretty sure thing. And you know what you've got on offense. If you lose Blake Baker this year, I don't know who you're going to hire to be the defensive coordinator, but you introduce significant variable. And while you had a coach in Brian Kelly that was dual depender coordinated, and you had a head coach in Ed Ogeron that was dual coordinator dependent, and you had a head coach in Les Miles that was dual coordinator dependent, meaning both sides of the ball were in flux at all times, Lane does have to worry about the defense. And now you've got it. And that is huge, huge for LSU. So this week of drama, Lane Kiffin's first week, he comes in, he holds the top end of his signing class together. LSU, according to the folks over at On3 Rivals, had the number 1 class in the country in terms of average player rating. It's a small class, talking about 15 guys or so, but in terms of average talent, tops. Held that together. Brought over a good bit of your offensive staff from Ole Miss. Kept LSU's good defensive staff largely intact. That's a pretty good first week for Lane Kiffin. That's a pretty good first week. So now you got to finish out the staff over the course of the next 2 weeks. We'll see what happens with Ole Miss in the playoff. Then you hit the portal really hard. Really, really hard. And all of a sudden, I've been asked a couple times, like, what can realistic expectations be in year 1 under Lane Kiffin? I've been asked that a bunch this, and I'm like, I don't know. I honestly don't know, because I don't know what the roster looks like at all. I don't know what the quarterback looks like. I don't know what the offensive line looks like. I don't know who's coaching the defense. Like, there's way too many variables for me to give a reasonable expectation about what to think about next year. Well, you're starting to paint that picture a little bit. Now, the portal is the biggest thing because that's next year's roster. So I can't tell you right now, but I feel good about the offense, and I don't even know who's going to be on it because Lane Kiffin's that good on offense. And now I feel good about the defense because I know who's coaching it. And that's a very, very comforting thing. So for LSU to get that assurance from Blake Baker that, like, hey, I'm on this Kirby Smart track. I want to coach at LSU until I get the big job. The big job doesn't come open all the time. And then the big job is going to have to want someone with no head coaching experience. That can take some time. And I got to tell you, I think LSU's okay with that taking some time. Blake Baker's very well compensated. It's very clear. His family loves it in Baton Rouge. You may have a situation where you get a few really good more years out of Blake Baker, and that is a huge, huge positive for Lane Kiffin and this LSU football program. So Blake Baker staying, highly recommend you check out the interview that the Off the Bench guys did with him this morning. You can find that on their YouTube page or wherever you find your podcast. Great stuff from Blake Baker. I've also got a story up, that's the written version of that at louisianasports.net right now that you can check out for free. All right, that's LSU. That's Blake Baker. Put that to bed. When we come back, Saints got to win. What did it mean? That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. SwingEasyGCBR.com is the website. It's a great place to hang out. Great place to hang out. Grab some friends. Go over to Swing Easy Golf Club. You get a private bay. You can go in. Got the couches. Got the television. Got the music. Put on the driving range simulator. Or you can play a round of golf at one of the most famous courses in the world. You can play St. Andrews. You can play Pebble Beach. You can play TBC Sawgrass. Test yourself on the Island Green. Drink a cold beer, enjoy a glass of wine, seltzer. They got them right there at the front. And just hang out. It's a great place to go. Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge. They're on Segan at Perkins. You can find the website, swingeasygcbr.com. But give them a call, stop on by, grab a tea time. Swing Easy Golf Club in Baton Rouge.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, ironworkers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared toward seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. And when you're cooking with clean, affordable propane, you're cooking with gas. In the wintertime, nothing heats a home like Louisiana propane. And when you need hot water, propane's got you covered. Oh, and you won't regret that propane generator when the power goes out. I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and to find more information and to find a propane dealer near you, visit louisianapropane.com.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs, set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free, confidential help now.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All right, we're getting to the Saints here. I have a comment, and I don't mean to disparage the listener. In fact, the opposite. I think it's a wonderful gesture. I just have some questions with it. Jordan, are you a fast food breakfast guy?
I can be when I have a little money in my pocket.
Okay. It is a guilty pleasure of mine. Yeah. I love fast food breakfast. I think it's awesome.
Some spots are hit or miss.
And so a listener, apparently this morning I got the story from Alondra, who produces Off the Bench. A listener had breakfast delivered to the Off the Bench's crew. I think that's a great gesture. Appreciate that very much. That's awesome. I just question the order.
Okay.
McDonald's has
everything.
Great breakfast.
Yeah.
Great breakfast.
Yeah. And
the order that was sent was all ham, egg, and cheese McMuffins.
Ugh. What?
Of the breakfast sandwiches from McDonald's, the biscuit is awesome.
It's okay.
The McGriddle is awesome.
That's what I'm grabbing.
And the McMuffin is third. It's the worst.
It's the ugly sister.
And then if you go to the breakfast meats, sausage is the best.
Easy.
Bacon is the second best, and ham is the worst.
The ugly sister.
So this is the worst order you could have come up with, in my opinion.
No, I mean I totally agree, but also beggars can't be. So if it's free, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna put it down.
If you're gonna hand me a ham, egg, and cheese McMuffin, I'm gonna eat it.
I'm gonna be like,
I'm gonna eat it, and it's gonna be a 5 out of 10. But you got a possibility to get a sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddle, which is a 10 out of 10
with the double hash brown and the orange juice. Come on now.
So again,
grape jelly.
I think this may come off as me being dismissive of the listener. That it was a good idea, and look, I would eat that sandwich. I question the order. I was surprised to open the bag and see that.
Well, look, you have a right to question the order, but again, we're appreciative of everybody that wants to bring any type of breakfast. But hey, man, sausage, egg McGriddle, or if you got a little bit of money, steak and egg and cheese McGriddle. They don't know about that one.
Actually, so that is better than the bagel. You don't want the bagel from McDonald's. That's bad. And then the steak breakfast, probably not where I'm going to head either.
Yeah.
But all right, enough on the McDonald's order.
Yeah, we got to win today.
Hey, the Saints did win.
Come on.
The Saints did win. And they played really well. Like it was not like a flukus, like the other team missed 3 field goals, or you had a scoop and no, it's just like the Saints just showed up in Tampa in the rain and just put it on the Bucs. Just straight put it on them. And I thought it was awesome. I thought there were a number of things to highlight in the game. What's got to come first is Shough. I thought 2 things on him. One, I did not know that he could move like that.
Me either.
That was really something to rip off multiple big runs on a good Tampa defense was impressive. Both touchdown runs showed some speed. There was a little toughness on the last one to escape from all the sacks and that it was gutty, it was gritty, and then it was a lot of talent there to get that to the end zone. I thought that was awesome. I also really, really liked the 2 third-down conversions on the Saints' final drive.
Clutch.
They were decisive. They were accurate. They were on the money. Just what you need for operating up. We're always going to look at highlight reel plays, and you're going to look at the long touchdown runs. We want to see the deep balls. But, just executing in an offensive system is is what you need your quarterback to do to win at the highest level. And for him to make those 2 throws on the third downs was awesome. Thankfully, the Bucs dropped the interception there at the end. That wasn't his fault. The ball, Olave tips it up in the air. But, thankfully they dropped it, which is good. And the stat line's not going to wow you. But it's in the rain. 13 for 20 for 144 yards, no touchdowns and a pick. But I thought that he really made some big plays in that game with his legs, and then when you needed him on those third downs to help churn that clock down. And one thing that helps Tyler Shough, obviously, is to get that ground game going. And Devin Neal absolutely got the ground game going, showed a little burst, showed a little ability to get up the field, and I thought really looked the part of an NFL running back. 19 carries for 70 yards was the final stat line. He had a long of 21. The Saints had not had a running play of over 20 yards all season. And they got one from Neal and then, of course, the 34-yarder from Shough. But to get the ground game going against a top 6 defense rushing in the NFL in Tampa was really impressive for New Orleans. You knew you were going to have to run the ball in those conditions, and they did it against a really good front. So I thought that was awesome to see. I do like the fact that they got Devon Vele involved again in this game, 3 catches for 40 yards. They targeted him 5 times. You're starting to see that part of the offense come together. That's not something the Saints had, a big possession receiver. They just didn't have that in September. And now that you are in December, it took a while. It took longer than I would like for Vele to get out there on the field, but it took trading Shaheed away and getting down the line when you talk about targets. They're getting Vele involved, which is good. They got Juwan Johnson involved, which was good. Olave had some catches, and I thought that the offense really functioned the way that I think a Kellen Moore offense should function. You look at the ground game. I mean, I'm thinking about Philly, right? That's the most recent thing we have with him. There's a longer sample size in Dallas, but I'm thinking about Philly. I'm thinking about a quarterback that makes some plays with his feet. You saw that from Jalen Hurts. You saw that from Tyler Shough. I'm thinking about running the football, which you saw from Philly last year. You saw from the Saints on Sunday. I'm thinking about using the middle of the field, which Philly was so good at last year. The Saints did a little bit of that in this game. That's everything that you would like to see in a Kellen Moore offense. I think you saw against a good Tampa defense on the road on Sunday. And look, this is not something where I think they've turned a corner. I'm not willing to say that about this team right now. But you got to see some signs and some flashes of things to have any hope that they're going to continue. And that's what I think you saw in this game. Tyler Shough very obviously has some traits that great quarterbacks have. He's got the size. He's got plenty of arm. You've now seen the ability to move and to get things going with his legs. And you saw some clutch, some great decisions in crucial times against a good team. It's hard for me to jump for joy when you beat the Giants behind 5 turnovers. It's a good Sunday for the Saints when you do that, but is that sustainable for the franchise? No, you're not going to get that every day. This was a sustainable win. You can play solid defense, get a turnover, run the ball, make some throws on third downs, use your quarterback's athleticism. All these things are translatable moving forward. It wasn't a flukish turnover game. It wasn't a starting quarterback got hurt game. It wasn't there was nothing fishy about this Saints win. It was just showing up and executing and playing well. And I've bashed Kellen Moore a little bit this year. I didn't like some of the decisions he made early in the season, especially with timeouts in that home game right out of the chute. I did not like the way the Saints came out of their bye week and just got flattened after having a week off at home against your rival. There have been some things to pick on Kellen Moore about this year. This was solid stuff. This looked like a Kellen Moore football team, and hopefully you can see some of this moving forward. Now, so that's my analysis of this game. I want to go one step further very cautiously here. Very cautiously. The best result of this season, realistically, in August, was that the Saints played their best ball late in the season against a weaker schedule. You can try to come out with some kind of pie in the sky where, oh no, best case scenario, they came out, played really well early, and they went 11-6. Really? With what everyone considered the worst roster in the NFL? Probably not. There was really no pie in the sky expectation in reality for this team. The reality was you weren't going to be very good. But your hope was that in December, when the schedule lightens, you play your best ball. And what you can now hope is that what you saw on Sunday translates to another week and translates to another week. And if you can see this happen, then all of a sudden you can start to have faith in that quarterback and you can start to have faith in that coach. And when you get faith in a quarterback and faith in a coach, that's the first two things that have to happen to get the franchise out of the gutter. I'm looking right now at Chicago. They've got the coach, and they're confident in their quarterback. Now, they lost on Sunday, but they're in a great position because their coach is really good and their quarterback's playing his best. And if the Saints can get – it's a different level because the Saints aren't going to win 10, 11, 12, 13 games like Chicago could. But if you can show that in December, awesome. Like, I'm not worried about the draft pick right now. I'm worried about Shough. And if you get more of that, steady third down play, quality decision-making, athleticism, and winning, then you can start to address other issues with this roster. And that's what you've got to do. So I'm not going to proclaim that Shough is the next franchise quarterback after one nice game. I'm not going to suggest they've turned a corner. I'm not all in on Kellen Moore now. They've got to do some more. But you hope that this was the first step. The problem is, for the Saints, that you felt like this a couple of times this year, and then they've fallen flat. Like, you felt okay when you went on the road to Carolina and won, came off the bye week, okay, let's go get it done. Boom, Falcons get you by 2 touchdowns. And then you felt good after you beat the Giants. You got that win. You had played Buffalo close, so for 2 weeks you had played pretty good football. Then your offense looks like garbage against the Patriots, and you go up to Chicago and really get bullied. So, like, every time there's been a little bit of progress, you've fallen flat. Now you're playing Carolina in the Dome next week, and Carolina is better than we thought. Like, I have to say that now. I've been skeptical all year, but I don't really have a choice now. They're winning a lot of games, and they're beating some good teams. So you got to not face plant. And if you can go out there and play a decent game against Carolina, then you've got a chance against the Jets to really feel like you're generating some momentum, and the Titans are next. Like, it's right there. Carolina, Jets, Titans. Right there for you to take that step that we've all been hoping for since August. It's taken a while. It's been a slog. It's been messy. It's been unpleasant. But hopefully that was the first step in the right direction for New Orleans yesterday, as opposed to just one flash in the pan in the rain in Tampa. But they've got to show it. They haven't proven they can play 2 in a row well. They've got to show that coming up this coming week. But make no mistake, good day for the Saints on Sunday in Tampa. Jordan, you watched it. What'd you think?
I thought a couple things about Shough. Number one thing was, why in the world were we wasting Taysom Hill touches if Shough is this fast? If he can move like this, well, you're running. The
Taysom thing made no sense. There was just no sensible reason to be doing what you were doing with Taysom Hill.
Unreal. And another thing I liked a lot about Shough, I like that you really saw him be very in control of the offense. He's coming to the line, he's making checks, he's audibling. It felt like the moment was not too big in a spot where you're the underdog on the road at Tampa. Like it's a moon sign going on out there. It looked like a hurricane was going on out there. And you find a way to win. Another thing about Shough, I like how he got down with the touchdown run. He got down in the end zone. Yeah. I guarantee you Jackson Dart's not getting down right there. He probably would have tried to truck the guy. Shough immediately turtles up, got into the end zone. That's one thing I like about him. He's way smarter, I guess, because he's an older rookie coming in. He's way smarter than
How about you got Derek Carr hurtling through air?
Yeah,
ending his
exactly.
career.
Ending his career trying to hurdle over people, and Shough sees a defender and what, let me get down. That I love to see.
I have been waiting for the Shough just absurdly bad decision that we saw at Louisville.
Yeah.
If you turn on the Louisville highlights,
He's got a little funny lights.
You will see some what the heck was that?
Yes.
And he has not done that to this point. He's looked the part. Again, he's not throwing for 350 a game.
No, he's doing what needs to be done.
He did some things that executed the offense, and to put a bow on it, in my point, like it looked like Kellen Moore's offense yesterday. It looked like it was running the way, and it has to start with running the football. And Devin Neal ran the football. We've been talking about that for a month. You can't do squat if you can't run the ball.
Literally,
you can't Mike Leach Texas Tech this thing to the NFL. It just doesn't work. So That's good stuff for New Orleans. 24-20 was the final in Tampa yesterday. All right, when we come back, I've got some thoughts on the college football playoff, including why everyone's missing the point. We'll do that next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Highland Insurance Group, HighlandIG.com is the website, HighlandIG.com. If you're a business owner, got to have benefits for your employees, right? And sometimes that renewal comes and you go, huh? If that's happened to you recently or you think it may be happening at your next renewal because rates are skyrocketing, call the Highland Insurance Group like a lot of folks are. I talked to Jonathan last week, said, look, they're getting a lot of phone calls because one specific benefits carrier is really hiking rates. And the Highland Insurance Group has other options. So if you're looking to make sure your employees are sticking around, or you're looking to recruit more employees, and you realize you've got to have your benefits in place and they're getting cost prohibited, the Highland Insurance Group can help you out with all your employee benefits. We talk about property and casualty most of the time on this show, but benefits is another thing that they do over at the Highland Insurance Group. So if you're looking for new benefits for your business, the Highland Insurance Group can help you out with that. They're here in Baton Rouge. They can help you out statewide. It's the Highland Insurance Group. They're online at HighlandIG.com.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Falgu.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge and First American Bank and Trust bring you the Heart of the Game Award, recognizing student athletes who deliver when it counts. Nominate your game day standout at 1045ESPN.com by the 21st. We'll choose 5 male and 5 female finalists, and then it's up to the fans to vote for the winners. Each winner gets a $250 gift card, a custom award, and the spotlight they've earned. Presented by First American Bank and Trust, a banking tradition since 1910.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Most roofers just replace your shingles. At Pelican, we diagnose your roof, digging deep down to find the root cause of your roof symptoms. Now cough for me? Good. We don't ignore your roof's issues, we address them.
Let's just take care of this right here.
Helping your roof to become the best version of itself.
Interesting that you would say that. How does that make you feel?
So call Pelican Roofing for your free roof checkup today.
Looking for cleaner energy? Propane is energy for everyone. Propane water heaters are very cost efficient, and the savings are even greater with a tankless propane water heater. We all know that Louisiana propane is a safe and environmentally friendly fuel. So why not go green while you save some green? I'm Miss Louisiana, Gabrielle McLeod, and for more information, visit louisianapropane.com.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith with Locke Meredith, Shawn Fagan & Associates. We take great pride in educating our clients about their rights. Whether you're injured at work or while you drive, call our office at 272-5555. Knowledge is power, and you should know your rights after an injury.
Hi, I'm Shawn Fagan of Locke Meredith, Shawn Fagan & Associates. When insurance companies have been unfair, we've never been afraid to go to trial. Fighting hard to protect your rights, we never settle a case out of convenience. We only settle when it's right for you. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call.
Supreme Jasmine is premium.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
We'll talk about LSU's grossly disappointing basketball effort last night on at the top of hour number 2. We'll do that coming up in 25 minutes. The college football playoff was set yesterday, and I have some thoughts. Everyone is going nuts about the Notre Dame thing. Everyone's talking about Alabama. Everyone's talking about Notre Dame. Everyone's talking about Miami. Everyone's talking about all that. And that's not what we should be talking about. It's not. The deal is that you have a schedule in front of you, and if you lose games, you are at the mercy of the committee. And Notre Dame came out and lost its first 2 games, and I don't have a lot of sympathy for them at all. In fact, none. But that's not the issue. That's not what has me up in arms. How in the world are we supposed to sit here and take this sport seriously when you have a 12-team playoff and you have 2 spots for Tulane and James freaking Madison? This is unserious. This is an unserious sport. It's unserious. No one could look at that and suggest we've got this thing figured out. Now, hopefully, what happens last year happens this year, because last year we looked at this and saw frickin' Boise getting a bye, and Ohio State didn't. And we went, that's probably not right. We should probably fix that. And they did. Can we not look at this and say, hey, we should probably fix this? Why is this charity hour for everyone? Why do we have to let the ACC have a seat at the table? Their conference stinks. Why do we have to let the group of 5 have a seat at the table? They all stink. All of them. The 2 teams that got in the playoffs stink. Tulane had their chance. They got to look at on a stage against Ole Miss. They got the stage. This is a playoff team. How do you stack up? You got embarrassed. Embarrassed. And then they got blown out by UTSA. No, you don't get a playoff berth. You don't. Good story, good coach. Go play in a group of 5 playoff. Be awesome. You can play all those teams. You can play Coastal Carolina. You can play UTEP again. Maybe not get embarrassed. You can go play San Diego State, duel with Akron. It'll be awesome. Go play in that. James Madison played one P5 team themselves. They played Louisville. Louisville was a mediocre ACC team. We know how bad the ACC is. Duke won the league. They played Louisville. They lost 28-14 in a game. They had the football for like 40 minutes. And they got beat by 2 touchdowns. These teams are non-competitive with the teams that are competing for a national championship. It's ridiculous to have them included. And there are people that get on Twitter and get on ESPN and they go, well, why would you tell half the sport that they don't count? Because they don't. They can go play every Saturday. They can play their rivalry games. They can make their own playoff. To put them in a bracket with Georgia and Ohio State is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Notre Dame is good enough to be in the top 12. They didn't win enough games. You're out. And I do agree that you're setting a very dangerous precedent if you allow conference championship losses to impact teams. How do you think James Madison would have done against Georgia in the Georgia Dome on Saturday? You think that would have gone pretty well? No. Probably put a running clock in the 4th quarter. So I'm not going to penalize Bama for that. I'm not going to penalize teams for playing Georgia. They're in. It's fine. I don't like them. I want them to lose, but I'm fine with them in. The problem with the playoff is not that Notre Dame got screwed. The problem with the playoff is that we're reserving spaces in the bracket for charity. That's the problem. It's ridiculous. James Madison is a 20-point underdog in this game. James Madison's probably not any better than LSU. I have to be careful because LSU was on the ropes against Western Kentucky and Louisiana Tech, so I can't speak as demonstratively as I was like to. But I think if LSU played James Madison, LSU would beat them. And LSU was one of the worst teams in the SEC at the end of the year. I ranked them, I think, 11th in my power rankings. That's the problem with this bracket, is that you're reserving spots for charity, and it's ridiculous. Now, I do like something about the bracket. Now, this is the pettiness coming in, and it's not my best quality. I'm aware of that. I'll put that out there. And this is a jealousy thing in this instance, and it's not flattering for me to go this direction. But I have to, because my team stunk. My team fired its coach. My team was embarrassed by Texas A&M. My team is a non-factor. So all I've got left is these 12. And my only real rooting interest in this entire playoff is that Ole Miss and Texas A&M do not even get to the final. I can't even have them in the game. I need them. It's the furthest they can get for my enjoyment level is the semis. If they get to the title game, I'll be very disappointed. I think of myself in a very elite way when it comes to college football and college baseball, and I don't want anybody else getting in my club. I did not want Texas A&M in Atlanta for the SEC championship game. I did not want Ole Miss in Atlanta for the SEC championship game. In this instance, I pull against them harder than Alabama. I've lost that war. Bama's got 419 championships. What's another one? Who cares? I don't. I can't have Ole Miss and A&M feeling relevant, feeling like they've got an opportunity to win a national championship. That is unacceptable to me. And the bracket came out, and I was a little concerned, but I feel good about it. Why do I feel good about it? I know that Ole Miss gets a layup in the first game. They get to play Tulane, who deserves not to be in the game at all, and will get embarrassed again, I'm sure. But I got the Georgia buffer. If Ole Miss beats Tulane, which they will, they got to go beat Georgia in New Orleans. And that's going to be really difficult. I don't think they will. I know they had a 9-point lead in the fourth quarter in Athens. I know. I watched it. I don't think they'll beat them in New Orleans. So I think that Georgia's going to take care of Ole Miss. And right below that, Texas A&M, who does have a fight on their hands in the first game against Miami, has Ohio State staring right in the face in the Cotton Bowl right after that. Now, look, that is in Texas, but Ohio State travels, and Ohio State will bring some people to that game. It won't be a complete home game for A&M if they get there. And I feel like Ohio State's better than A&M. And I think that they'll get them out. But even if A&M does beat Ohio State, if A&M beats Miami and beats Ohio State, then they probably have to beat Georgia in the Fiesta Bowl. And if A&M has to beat Ohio State and Georgia to get to the final where I don't want them, I just don't think they're going to do that. I'm hopeful that A&M is a complete fraud, that they were propped up by their schedule, and that Texas revealed who they actually are. I'm hopeful in that. But I don't have any assurances of that. So I need either Miami or Ohio State or Georgia to take care of them. Now that is petty, it's weak, it's small, but it's all I got. I don't need A&M feeling like it's knocking on the door of a championship. I need A&M to fall flat on its face, either at home against Miami, which would be hilarious, or against Ohio State in the Cotton Bowl, and then go away. That's what I need. Have to do this all over again next year. I did not have a lot of confidence that A&M was going to get beat, and then Texas kind of took it to them, especially in the second half, and now I've got a buffer between, because there's a chance they could have ended up on some James Madison, Texas Tech, Indiana train, and I didn't want to take that chance. That I don't like. But now I got Georgia and Ohio State on that side of the bracket for A&M and for Ole Miss. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Hopefully I'm not wrong. Wouldn't be the first time, but hopefully I'm not wrong. So college football playoff, ridiculous James Madison and Tulane, but hopeful that I don't have to deal with Ole Miss and A&M getting in my club, which is the club that gets to play for national championships and win them. Don't need any more members in the club. Just shut the door. Bouncer, stand guard. Let's look at the college football playoff. We'll come back and close out hour number 1 coming up next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Lifetime Roofing, Baton Rouge-based roofing company, services the entire state of Louisiana, plus over in Houston and Texas. Look, you're talking about roof replacement, Lifetime Roofing can do it for you. You're talking about roof repair, Lifetime Roofing can help you with that. Looking for a tune-up, Lifetime Roofing can do that. Inspections as well. The peace of mind you can get from a roof inspection is phenomenal. Let's be real. Like, for most people, your home is your biggest investment, and your home protects the most important thing, which is your family. You don't want to take your roof for granted. Get an inspection from the folks at Lifetime Roofing and allow them, if they need to either do a repair or put a new roof on. You can go to their website, lifetimeroofingla.com. You can check out photographs of their great work, learn more about them, and you can request that inspection right there on the homepage. It's Lifetime Roofing. They're veteran-owned, phenomenal roofing company here in Baton Rouge. You know, in this part of the world, you got to take your roofs very, very seriously. They do it at Lifetime Roofing. Check them out online at lifetimeroofingla.com.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dreams Come True, we grant wishes for Louisiana children with life-threatening illnesses. But to do this, we need funds.
That's why we're trying to raise $100,000 for Dreams Come True by giving away the Blessed Builder School.
Make your backyard's dream come true while helping our kids.
Just go to dreampoolla.com and you can find out how your $25 donation might help win you a Duplessis pool.
This menu is a masterpiece, delivers every time.
This is the worst party ever. Raising Cane's!
Let's go!
The party is saved!
Peter, Mr. Billingsley.
Celebrate the holidays with Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
When it comes to choosing energy for your family and your home, make the smart choice with natural gas. You can count on efficient and affordable natural gas to keep you comfortable and reduce your environmental impact to help protect our planet. Together, we're fueling our energy future. Atmos Energy.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates has won for our clients over $175 million over the decades, but our greatest success is our clients who have chosen and trusted us to help them. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call. You've got nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Sean Fagan. If you get injured, you could be staring at medical bills, repair costs, and lost income. Life can be turned upside down. At Lock Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, we'll work to turn your world right side up. Hire us, and like thousands of our clients, you'll be glad you did.
BRAC teamed up to reimagine your parks, and you imagined big. With your help, we went to work, creating 12 beautiful community parks across the parish. A family-sized water park, miles and miles of trails, and parks just for your dogs. There are more places to splash, to explore, to run wild, and even soar. You imagined, we delivered. Gold. BRAC, your #1 park system in the nation.
Investing in a new roof doesn't have to be overwhelming. At Pelican Roofing, we offer 0 interest for 21 months.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
So, closing out the hour here, I have a working theory. It's not concrete yet. I'm not 100% positive. But it's a theory that I have that is starting to hold a little bit of water. Jordan, I'll get your thoughts on this. There is no question that this Alabama team is soft.
Yeah, they can't run the ball.
This Alabama team is soft. They cannot run the ball. They don't stop the run very well. If you saw the Iron Bowl, you saw a bunch of 3rd and 1s and 4th and 1s where they're running creative stuff and misdirection, jet sweeps and reverses and play action stuff. Like, can't just hand it off and go get it. And that's concerning for this team because they're going to the playoff. They're playing a physical team in Oklahoma that's already beaten them in Tuscaloosa. And it's concerning. And I don't think Alabama's going to win a national championship this year because I believe them to be soft. That's not the theory. Because that is proven. They went out there and ran for negative yards against Georgia. Soft. The question is, and the theory that I'm working towards is Kalen DeBoer's program soft? Now, that is a different kettle of fish. And we'll have to see next year what they look like. But I don't know a lot about his time at Washington or Fresno State. I don't know how physical those teams were playing and what level of, players they're playing against. But at the level that Alabama wants to play at, there's no negotiating. You have to be physical. And we've all been saying, well, I shouldn't say we've all been saying. I've been saying for a decade, whoever took over for Nick Saban was in trouble in Tuscaloosa because you just aren't going to be able to live up to that standard. It's just not realistic. But you will be expected to live up to that standard. And when those two things don't match, you get fired. And it's extremely likely, in my estimation, that Kalen DeBoer is going to lose a playoff game and lose 8 games in his first 2 seasons. Like, that's extremely likely to me. Now, this was a 10-2 team that made the playoff. And you can phrase it that way, but I don't think Alabama fans are going to do that. I think Alabama fans don't care about the fact that you made the playoffs. Did you win the championship? Did you look like a threat to be a national champion? And unless something drastically changes over the course of the next month, Alabama will not have looked like a championship team since they left the field against Georgia the first time. Like, that's my opinion. And that's just not going to fly in Tuscaloosa. 8 losses in 2 years is not going to fly, even with the playoff berth in a 10-2 season. So the question I have is, can Kalen DeBoer instill some physicality into his team for next season? Because make no mistake, if Alabama does not look like a championship team next year, the natives will be restless. They're probably already restless. And the fact that this year is probably going to end with a loss is going to make them more restless. And next year could be toxic in Tuscaloosa. And it wouldn't really be almost anywhere else. Just missed the playoff last year. You were right there on the edge. And then you come back the next year and you make the playoff. Like, that's good most places. This isn't most places. This is the most unrealistic fan base maybe in all of American sports. And what you saw on Saturday was not just, we didn't beat Georgia. What you saw on Saturday was a team that could not stand up to the fight. And one thing about Alabama fans is they do know what championship football looks like. They may be delusional in some factions, but they know what it's supposed to look like. And what you saw on Saturday was not competitive. They were just not competitive. That game was over in the first quarter. Georgia was just hammering them at the line of scrimmage. And so you can fix things like that year to year. I mean, Brian Kelly got fired, but he went from having an atrocious defense to a good one. Like, you can fix things like this. It's just a matter of whether or not Kalen DeBoer can do it. Like, Kevin Sumlin could not instill physicality into his Texas A&M teams. Just couldn't do it. And he got him fired. And this is a whole different ballgame than that. And this team did just go 10-2, and this team did just have they had the most impressive win in college football this year. Going on the road and beating Georgia at Athens is the best win in the nation. So it's not like he can't coach at all. But to win championships, which is the standard Alabama, you have to be physical. And, like, they're not. They're just not. So it's something that I'm going to be paying attention to. And I feel like we're going to watch this playoff play out. We'll see how it goes. But when we get to SEC Media Days next July, and we go to Tampa, and we're chatting, like, the talking point for me around Alabama, year 3 under Kalen DeBoer, like, you going to hit somebody in the mouth? Or are you going to be finesse? Because if you're going to be finesse, you might win some games, but you're not going to live up to the standard that you have to live up to in Tuscaloosa. Fair or unfair. Just is what it is. But that was an eye-opening game to me. It didn't matter in the grand scheme. Bama still got into the playoff. Like, they didn't hold it against them. Like, the game's result was insignificant. But the way that you got there, to me, is significant when you put it together with the way that Alabama's played this year. And they simply don't have the physicality to be a championship team. And that's going to be a very, very interesting thing to watch. You got a thought on that, Jordan? Think it's a team or a program issue?
I think it has to be more of a program issue. Can't be a team necessarily because Bama's still bringing in 4 and 5 stars at the running back.
Caden Proctor, number one.
Yeah, so I can't say it's a talent thing. It's more about, I mean, you got to look at the head coach, man. But it's so confusing to me when you say this because it's like this is supposed to be the downside or down years of Bama, but LSU still can't get over the hump of beating these guys.
Yeah,
that's why I'm just so lost with Bama. It's like they get up to play LSU But I guess you could say Georgia is the first time Georgia has beat them in a while. So, but everybody else it's a toss-up. They see Oklahoma and they just start shaking in their boots. I can't explain it at all.
I'm curious to see how that playoff game shakes out. I think I'm going to pick Alabama to win that game because I think Oklahoma's offense is terrible. But Alabama, Oklahoma's going to be physical with them.
They're going to bring it.
We'll see how many points Alabama can score. It kind of depends. We'll see. I got till the 19th, so I got 11 days to figure out who I'm picking in that game. I'm not going to rush to anything there, but my initial thought was to pick Bama. We'll see. All right, that's it for hour number 1 here. If you missed any of the show, opened talking about Blake Baker staying at LSU. You can catch that at Hunt on LSU. Then we talked about the Saints getting a big win. Talked about Tyler Shough's performance. You can find that at Hunt on Saints. On some college football playoff talk over the last 30 minutes. Get back to some LSU football a little bit later. Denton Day with us in 35 minutes talking national college football headlines. But when we come back after SportsCenter, I do want to talk about LSU's basketball team yesterday. Was that just a bad 2 hours, or was that indicative of what this team is? I've got a thought on it. I'll give that to you when we pause for SportsCenter. It's a Monday edition. The Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram be your trusted partners in finding your perfect vehicle. The crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
My father, J.B. Falgu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even JB could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of JB Falgu.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. We are honored and humbled to receive from our clients in Google. Based on 5-star client reviews, the designation of our law firm is highly recommended. Whether you hire us at all, please give us a call, 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Hi, I'm Mitchell Meredith. Injuries happen when you least expect them to, making your life more complicated. At Locke Meredith, Shough, Fagan & Associates, we know this, and we strive to help each of our clients during these times. Whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here, we eat out here, we watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized, it'll be time efficient, and you will have your pool in no time.
Raising Cane's is our victory meal.
Football fans are some of the most dedicated fans in sports. It's a fundamental quality we share, and that fuels every single order of our hand-battered chicken fingers. Wherever there's football, there's Raising Cane's.
One love. Let's go.
I'm Christine Lisi. NFL Week 14 caps off with the Eagles and Chargers Monday Night Football, 8:15 Eastern, ABC and ESPN. With the Eagles offense struggling to find an identity, ranked 24th in the NFL in total yards per game, 23rd in passing, 22nd in rushing, 19th in scoring. Head coach Nick Sirianni more involved in offensive preparations this week. Unsportsmanlike co-host Chris Canty.
I think they need to have more creativity around the run game. I would anticipate them running Jalen Hurts a lot more, quarterback design runs. It's that time of year. It's December. But then also, there are just throws in the passing game that Jalen Hurts has got to make. He's got to put it on receivers that are wide open. He's got to see receivers that are wide open.
Chargers quarterback Justin Herbert expected to play after last week's surgery on his non-throwing hand. Rookie Shedeur Sanders will remain the Browns starting quarterback the final 4 games of the regular season. Notre Dame athletic director Pete Bavacqua told the Dan Patrick Show the ACC, which houses almost every Fighting Irish sports team, has caused permanent damage to the relationship, is upset with how the ACC pushed Miami over Notre Dame for inclusion in the college football playoff.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ, Chris Canty, coming up Tuesday. Which teams will land in my power rankings this week? Find out at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike, weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Now, the Hunt Palmer Show.
Yes! I feel like I've been waiting for this my entire life.
You're listening to the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Jolly good fun. Jolly good.
Locking down the middle of the day.
America's favorite daytime fun show.
Live from the Raising Cane's studio. This is Hunt Palmer.
Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Appreciate you hanging out with us. A lot of football talk in hour number 1. There's more of that coming in hour number 2, Denton Day, 30 minutes from right now. But I want to start with basketball. I told you on Friday that I was really excited to watch LSU and Texas Tech. Broke down the Red Raiders, told you about JT Toppin, one of the best bigs in the country, best big I think that LSU may play all year long, and thought this would be a really good litmus test for where LSU is, because I have liked a lot of the things that I've seen from LSU, but I don't think Boston College is very good. In fact, they may be the worst team in the ACC. I don't think DePaul is very good, and I don't think Drake is very good. I think some of those teams carry some cachet with their name, but as far as the actual product on the floor this year, I don't think those teams are great. And so I was looking to see kind of how LSU stacked up against a team that I know to be good. And your answer on Sunday was grossly disappointing. Grossly disappointing. Because LSU was not competitive against Texas Tech at all. Start to finish. I mean, you look at the flow of this game, and in the first half, LSU was down 12 points after 8 minutes of play. I mean, they were down 9 after 4 minutes of play. They were down 12, then they were down 14. The lead swelled to 20 after 11 and a half minutes. They went to the locker room down 21. And then in the second half, it didn't even get any better. I thought that LSU, maybe they'll make a run at some point. They never made a run. 17 was the closest it got in the second half, and it swelled to 30 at one point with 6 minutes and 46 seconds to go. LSU was annihilated by Texas Tech. Now, I want to talk about why they got annihilated, and then we'll talk about whether or not this is who this team is, or if this was one bad day. LSU made a concerted effort to make sure that JT Toppin didn't go nuts. It was obvious. They were sending double teams all the time. If you didn't watch the game, Texas Tech has a center who is the Big 12 reigning player of the year. He's 6'9", he's left-handed, he scored 35 points at Illinois. He's really good. And LSU had Michael Nwoku on him, and they were sending double teams, and they did a good job against Toppin. He did not hurt them badly at all. He was 5 of 10 from the floor. He scored 11 points. He had 15 rebounds. But he didn't hurt him offensively that bad. But when LSU was doubling, they were leaving the perimeter open, and Texas Tech's got shooters. I told you about them, and those shooters got hot. And LSU had no answer and could not stop them. Texas Tech made 8 of its first 9 3-pointers in this game. And aside from one, which is the end of the shot clock, LSU had a hand up, played great defense, double clutch, forced shot at the end, and it went in. It was a fluke. Outside of that, they were just good shots. Texas Tech was running offense, getting the ball into the post, attracting double teams, getting offensive rebounds, kicking them back out, having open threes and knocking them down. And so Texas Tech got rolling with 8 of their 9 threes that they hit early. And on the flip side, LSU could not make anything from three-point range. It could not throw it in the ocean from three-point range. They finished the game 4 of 24. And let me make sure I have this right. They made 2 of their last 4. So LSU at one point was 2 out of 20 from 3. And this now is essentially 3 halves of basketball in a row, because your second half against Boston College was awful offensively. And then this game for 2 full halves was awful offensively. And you could not shoot. And you've got a 2-guard that you feel is a really good shooter in Max McKinnon, who went out there and went 0 of 9 from the floor, 0 of 5 from 3. Rashad King plays on the wing for you, 0 of 3 from 3. Marquel Sutton is supposed to be a scorer for you. Versatile, can put it on the floor, can shoot from the outside, 0 of 4 from 3. De'Don Thomas, he led you with 13 points. It took 14 shots to get there, and he has been so dynamic distributing the ball this year, and he finished the game with 1 assist and 3 turnovers. Like, everything you did offensively was bad. And they just never got into any kind of rhythm whatsoever. And Texas Tech, this is not a Chris Beard Texas Tech team. This has not been a Texas Tech team that's been exceptional defensively. And LSU just had no answer for them on either side of the floor. Nothing on offense, nothing on defense. You couldn't guard, you couldn't shoot. Couldn't get to the free throw line, couldn't stop them. And the score got lopsided because of it. You lost the game by 24 points. And it was never close. And that's really, really, really disappointing. Here is what I think about that, what this says moving forward. I don't believe LSU is terrible. I don't believe LSU is going to go 3-15 in SEC play. I don't. I think that it's a team that's got some offensive firepower, that's got some size in the front court, that's got some versatility in how it can do things, both offensively and defensively. I think they're an okay team. I think in this instance, LSU played as bad as they can play offensively. I mean, you can't shoot any worse than that. They were 4 of 24 from 3 and 12 of 19 from the free throw line. That's 63%. They shot 33% from the floor. You just can't shoot any worse than that. And Texas Tech came out and made 8 of 9 threes. They will not make 8 of 9 threes in a game to start a game the rest of the season. I think what you had here was as bad as LSU can play and as good as Texas Tech can shoot. And those two ingredients into a recipe create a blowout. Absolutely. I don't think it's indicative of what LSU is game in and game out. I don't think so. I think they played poorly. I don't think they were grossly overmatched. I could be wrong. I started the show today telling about how I was wrong about Blake Baker. And if LSU starts 0-8 in league play and is an average defeat of 15, 18 points, I will stand here and I'll say I was wrong. Like, I have no problem doing that. But I am going to tell you what I think. And I think LSU is improved from last year. I think they're a pretty good basketball team, relatively speaking, with the rest of the country. And I think that they are bottom half of the SEC. I don't think if they played Texas Tech tomorrow in Fort Worth, that it would be this lopsided. I think LSU would be more competitive. The question is how competitive. The question is how often are you going to play like this? You've got a chance against a pretty good SMU team to redeem yourself on Saturday in New Orleans. If you don't, it's going to be a massive red flag. If you do, I can brush this one aside a little bit. They're going to play 18 league games. Over the course of those 18 league games, what you saw on Sunday is going to happen probably twice, where a team comes out and just kicks your butt. They make shots, you don't, game gets away, and it's just never close. Like, that's where LSU is as a program, as a team. There are going to be some nights like that against some of the better teams in the SEC. Not saying that would happen every time you played them, but there are going to be some nights like that. Like last year, LSU was never going to beat some of the teams in the SEC. Like Florida, LSU could have played Florida 10 times with last year's roster. Florida won the national championship. They would get beat by 15 to 25 points every time. Every time. And I don't think this team is in that spot. I think this team can be competitive with some of the better teams in the SEC more often than not. But yesterday was indicative of what can happen if you don't play very well. You can get blown out. So to put it in short, like I'm disappointed in yesterday. I really thought it was a chance to make a bit of a statement to me. I said this on Friday. Not to the college basketball world. The college basketball world's not watching you play Texas Tech. But they can make a statement to me, interested fan, interested media member who's covering you. Hey, okay, that if you could beat Texas Tech or play with them, I go, okay, that's a real step in the right direction. And you missed that opportunity. So now the skepticism is warranted. And I know that most of y'all driving around, most of y'all listening to this are going, we knew this was going to happen anyway. We don't like this coach. We think this team's not any good. We're not buying into early success like they had last year, and they got into the SEC, embarrassed themselves. And you're on an island full of people, and you are in a good spot. Like, I'm not telling you to get off that island. I don't want to go on that island. I don't want to be on that island. I don't like that island. So I'm going to hold out hope over here by myself that LSU is a little bit better. Yesterday did nothing to reinforce that, and that's disappointing. They have to come out on Saturday. Have to come out on Saturday and answer the bell. They have to. If you don't, it's a strong indicator that you're looking at another brutal SEC slate. Because Drake's whole team went to Iowa. BC's the worst team in the ACC. DePaul, I don't think is very good. You got to show up against SMU in New Orleans and prove that you can throw some punches with a functional team. You don't have to win. I'd like it if you won. This Saturday's a different beast than this one. This one, you were a 6.5, 7-point dog. You were likely to lose this game. Texas Tech's a top 20 team. They got the Big 12 Player of the Year. You don't have that. This is not that next week with SMU. So LSU's got to answer the bell come Saturday in the Smoothie King Center. We'll talk about that on Friday, but really, really disappointing stuff by LSU on Sunday in Fort Worth. Couldn't even make it interesting through the first half. Brutal. But I do think that was not indicative of the outcome most of the times between LSU and Texas Tech, because LSU can't shoot it any worse and Texas Tech can't shoot it any better. And it's a make and miss sport at the end of the day. And Texas Tech made them and LSU missed them. So that's my look at LSU and Texas Tech from yesterday. We'll talk National College Football when we come back in 15 minutes with Denton Day. When we come back from this timeout, we'll talk a little LSU football. That's next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
One Bath and Closets. OneBathAndClosets.com is the website. David Duvall and his team, 30 years redesigning and remodeling bathrooms and closets. Look, it doesn't have to be a big, expensive, expansive renovation. Like, when I say that word, you probably think big projects. And it can be, but it doesn't have to be. If you've got one of those big tubs that they put in the 80s and 90s, big jacuzzis that you never use or doesn't work or hasn't worked in years, and it's just sitting there taking up space in your bathroom, get rid of it. Tub to shower conversion. You get rid of the big bathtub, you put in a glass walk-in shower, change the aesthetic of your bathroom, change the functionality of your bathroom, add some value to your home, just makes you happier. Get in there and get in that brand new shower. David Duvall and One Bath and Closets can help you out with that. If you're concerned about financing, they've got it. 0% up to 18 months if you qualify. Go see pictures of their great work. Request that free consultation online at onebathandclosets.com. Onebathandclosets.com.
Hi, this is Beth Serena. Welcome to my pool. The first time I saw this beautiful pool, it exceeded every expectation that I had. They were able to get everything we wanted in this pool. It is a beautiful pool. We live out here. We eat out here. We watch TV out here. This is like our living room outside. We love this pool and everything about it. When we decided to build our pool, we called a great friend who is one of the best pool builders in the country in North Louisiana, and we said, who would you choose to build a pool in Baton Rouge? And without a hesitation, he told us Russell Pools. He said their history, tradition of great builds, great pools was unmatched. So of course, who did we call? Russell Pools. The advice I would give to anyone looking to build a pool is first call Russell Pools. They'll do an incredible job. It'll be incredibly organized. It'll be time efficient. And you will have your pool in no time.
These
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Huh. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
It's time for Christmas on the River, Cajun style. Join us for the 35th Annual Festival of the Bonfires, December 13th through 15th at Lutcher Park in St. James Parish. Enjoy great food, live music, local crafts, Santa's Very Merry Forest, and carnival rides. Plus, we'll light a new bonfire on Friday and Saturday in preparation for the arrival of Papa Noel. The 2024 Festival of the Bonfires is sponsored by First American Bank and Trust. Log on to festivalofthebonfires.org for more information.
I'm lawyer Collins Locke Meredith. Among the most important factors to consider when you're hiring an injury attorney is trust. You trust your attorney will put your interest first, treat you with respect, fairness, and honesty. You trust them to be there for you when you need them. At Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates, thousands of clients have trusted us to represent them, and for good reasons. Please visit us at LockeMeredith.com to learn more, and whether you hire us at all, give us a call at 272-5555. You have nothing to lose.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
So, we'll talk to Denton Day coming up in about 15 minutes about the college football playoff, about the selection of Alabama over Notre Dame, about James Madison and Tulane. We'll do all that with Denton Day. We also want to talk a little bit about Indiana as well. Impressive win for Kurt Cignetti's team. Just amazing that he's put that program in that position to go toe-to-toe with Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game and knock them out was amazing. We'll do that in 15 minutes. I want to talk about two newsworthy things that kind of dovetail together at LSU. The first is that On3 named its true freshman of the year, and DJ Pickett was their pick. And I was a little bit surprised at that. I figured there'd be some 1,000-yard receiver or quarterback that turned heads or something. Pickett had a great year, but I just didn't think he would win a national award for it, and he did. And it's indicative of what was always going to happen when Corey Raymond came back to LSU from Gainesville, that you're going to immediately elevate the level at which you recruit and the level at which you develop simultaneously. And what you've seen is you've got DJ Pickett winning this award for True Freshman of the Year, and you've got Mansour Delane going to the Thorpe Award ceremony coming up on Saturday. Like, it took 2 years for Corey Raymond to produce that. And that was always going to happen. It just always was. And so you've got DJ Pickett here. You think Corey Raymond's going to be here. Blake Baker talked this morning on the morning show about, they're still working through some things with the staff to keep the continuity there, but the expectation was there to be a lot of continuity on LSU's defensive staff, and certainly Corey Raymond would fit that bill. And you've got that type of talent coming in and that type of production on the field. And because of that, we got the second piece of news that Ashton Stamps is going into the transfer portal. Now, we knew this was coming. Stamps talked to the LSU staff. He played his 4 games this year. Wanted to preserve that year of eligibility so he didn't play the rest of the way. And that's not uncommon. You saw a lot of the same things from Caleb Jackson this year. 2 guys, same class. Same class. 3 years at LSU that played in their 4 games, and then they were going to sit, and Stamps is in the transfer portal. And we'll see what Caleb Jackson decides to do, but I wouldn't be stunned if he went in the transfer portal. But Ashton Stamps is. And you look at Stamps' career arc in Baton Rouge, he comes to LSU as a true freshman, 2023. And Corey Raymond's gone. He's not here. And that was the worst defense in LSU history. And they needed Ashton Stamps, a true freshman, a 3-star recruit, to come in and play and start the final 4 games of the season as a true freshman. That's where you were in terms of your defensive back depth and talent. You had to have a 3-star true freshman come in and start. And as a sophomore in 2024, he started all 13 games for LSU. That was Corey's first year back. And he had a decent season, ranked third in the SEC in passes defended, had 14 of those, made 51 tackles, had a couple of hurries. In the season opener against Cal, he had 3 pass breakups. Southern Cal, he had 3 pass breakups. And then you bring in DJ Pickett, and you bring in PJ Woodland, and you go get Mansour Delane, and then you go back to safety, and you got AJ Halsey, and you got Tamarcus Cooley. And Stamps just kind of found his way tumbling on the depth chart a little bit. And that, to me, is not an indication that Ashton Stamps didn't put in the work or Ashton Stamps was lazy. Not at all. Ashton Stamps was a great worker. But the talent level just really raised when Corey Raymond got to LSU. And you saw an LSU team that was very, very good in pass defense that's now garnering national awards, and Stamps is looking elsewhere. And I think Ashton Stamps is an SEC-level football player. I do. I don't think he's a Thorpe Award winner. I don't think he's the best player in his class at the position like DJ Pickett. And then it was basically him and PJ Woodland, like mano a mano. Couple of guys, similar size, Stamps a little bit bigger. Good athletes, dynamic high school players. Who's going to win that one spot? And Woodland won it. Woodland took that job. And so Ashton Stamps will look elsewhere. He put Go Tigers at the end of his post today on social media. And he'll look elsewhere. But LSU is in good shape at corner. You bring Corey Raymond back. You bring P.J. Woodland back. You bring D.J. Pickett back. And I think next year, when we mentioned going to SEC Football Media Days in July, I think when we go to Media Days in July and we get that ballot for the all-conference team, I think D.J. Pickett will be first team. I think he will garner that kind of respect nationally and certainly regionally because of the star level he was as a recruit and what he put out there as a freshman. LSU's coverage grades this year were fantastic, and Pickett's got better week over week over week on Pro Football Focus. And so that's your baseline. You go get a really good player in this class already in Haven Finney. Maybe he can come in and help you a little bit. You've got Aiden Anding, who was the number 1 corner in the state of Louisiana last year, who didn't get a lot of time this year, but is on the roster. And Corey Raymond's just going to get those turnstiles going again. And as I mentioned, like that was always going to happen when he got this job. And you're going to see a lot of turnover on the roster. Some of it towards the professional level, but some of it moving on. But is like I mentioned at the very top of the show today, something I harped on. With Blake Baker now back, and the continuity that's going to come with him on that staff, you feel like LSU's in a really good position defensively to restock the shelves. You're going to have to do that annually, but you really got a chance to restock the shelves. Blake Baker talked this morning about Whit Weeks. He didn't say anything, but Jake said, Whit Weeks can come back, right? Blake Baker said, we know. Discussions are ongoing. And that's the kind of thing that if Blake Baker wasn't back, you feel like you probably don't get Whit Weeks. If Blake Baker's not back, maybe a defensive coordinator comes in and wants to put in his own secondary coach, and then you might lose some players. But the continuity that comes with sticking with your defensive coordinator is going to create some stability on the roster as well. And then some of the guys that depart are just guys that may not have gotten a lot of playing time. I think that's kind of where Ashton Stamps was in this decision. Like maybe not a lot of playing time at LSU moving forward, so might have to look elsewhere. That's what Stamps will do. DJ Pickett, National Freshman of the Year for On 3 Sports. All right, we're chugging along here on this Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Still plenty to do over the course of the next 35 minutes or so. I want to talk to Denton Day about a lot of things nationally, so we'll do that with him when we come back.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
First American Bank and Trust went down to New Orleans this weekend because I had to pick up the Myers man from the airport. So went and stopped by for lunch and looked across the street, and there was a First American Bank and Trust right there in Metairie. One of the 25 locations they've got in Southeast Louisiana. There is always one near you. First American Bank and Trust started up in 1910, been here 115 years. They can help you with your commercial loan. They can help you with your residential loan. Deal with First American Bank and Trust. Don't deal with one of those national banks who doesn't know where you are or where you've been. Deal with a company that's been here in our footprint for decades and decades, for generations and generations. They're part of your community. Every decision made at First American Bank and Trust is made locally. All of them. It's not some call center in Atlanta or San Francisco. It's right here in Southeast Louisiana. So when you're looking into banking, if you're looking for a loan, First American Bank and Trust is where you need to start. First American Bank and Trust.
Supreme Jasmine is premium American-grown rice. From local farms to your table, every grain is supreme. Pick up a bag of Jasmine or any other of our Supreme American rice.
With all the delicious chicken finger options, it was an impossible decision.
How about a box combo? Good. Now what can I get for you?
No, I want a Caniac combo with extra cane sauce, no slaw, 2 extra toast, and a half sweet tea, half lemonade.
Celebrate the holidays with Raising Cane's chicken fingers. One love.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe. My whole team on wild.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Auctioner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one. You. Auctioner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
I'm Gabrielle McLeod on behalf of the Louisiana Propane Dealers. I have spent hundreds of hours preparing for scholarship competitions. That preparation paid off when I won the Fitness and Talent Awards along with the title of Miss Louisiana. The Louisiana Propane Dealers are also pretty talented and want you to be prepared for when the power goes out. Visit LouisianaPropane.com to find out about propane generators and other safety tips. Louisiana Propane, it truly is the fuel for our future.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
You're listening to The Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Chugging along here on this Monday. Glad you're hanging out with us. Hope your work week's off to a good start. Just a couple more weeks left in this year, 2025. Mondays give us an opportunity to head out to the Jim's Firearms Hotline, talk to our guy Denton Day, SiriusXM's college football overtime. He's with us now. Denton, how we doing?
Hunt, I'm good, man. Hope you are too. Fun weekend this weekend.
It
Busy.
was. It was very very busy and interesting. Let's table college football playoff for a second here. I want to start back on the coaching carousel. Where are you on Penn State's process and end result with Matt Campbell?
Well, it's funny because when they first fired James Franklin, it felt like Matt Campbell was a name that had initially been mentioned, and then it went quiet for 2 months. And when they struck out on everybody else, he was just available. So I think it's a fine hire, but if you fire James Franklin for not being able to beat good teams and not getting you to the place where you can win a championship, I don't know that Matt Campbell coming in automatically fills the void that you thought you still had with James Franklin. So he's a fine coach. I think it's a good hire. I think he'll be able to do some good stuff with the resources, but I don't know that he puts Penn State in a position where in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years they're going to be a championship level team.
I hear where you're going there, and I'm like a little bit further down the road than you. Like, I look at Matt Campbell's resume at Iowa State, and I realize it's Iowa State. I understand. But they're always like 8-4. I don't understand why everyone seems so infatuated with Matt Campbell when they're playing Baylor and they're playing Texas Tech and Kansas State, and they're going 8-4 every year. I don't really understand.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a classic, well, if we think we give him more money, he's going to be good. And every program has that. I don't know how often it actually works. I mean, Penn State has set themselves up to be the next Nebraska and Tennessee and Florida. It is not that James Franklin was this great head coach. We've spoken about this before. He's a high tier 2 coach in the sport. Well, Matt Campbell is like a tier 3 guy trying to break in to tier number 2. So maybe he finds the quarterback, but he never really found the quarterback at Iowa State. I mean, if you remember, Brock Purdy is good in the NFL now. He was supposed to be like a second-round pick. And that final year at Iowa State was atrocious. And that's why he fell to be the final pick in the draft and this great story in the NFL. So Campbell's never really been able to get the quarterback position looking fantastic, and that's always been one of the things that's hamstrung Penn State. So I don't know, maybe a couple extra $1 million helps them there, but I think you're looking at 8-4, 9-3 for the next couple of years, and then you'll be scratching your head. Maybe that gets you to the college football playoff, but I was under the assumption they wanted a lot more.
All right, let's talk about the games over the weekend, and let's start with the Big Ten championship, where Indiana just looked Ohio State right between the eyes and beat them. What'd you think?
It was a really impressive performance from Indiana. I thought defensively they were really strong, and that was my big question because the front four had done a really good job, I thought, against Oregon earlier this season, and I wanted to see if they could do it again against Ohio State because lost in some of the bigger storylines with Ohio State, obviously the weapons they have on offense and the great defense they have, is their offensive line had been pretty good, and Indiana was able to get pressure on Julian Sayin in a way that nobody else had this year. I think that was the determining factor in that game. When Ohio State needed to put points up, they couldn't. And that's the first time we've seen that this year. So I was really, really impressed with what Curt Cignetti was able to do. And they beat him without Omar Cooper, who was one of their best receivers. He left early with a lower body injury. So really, really impressed by that. Not the high-scoring affair that you would have liked to see in a primetime game, but I can't think of a better Big Ten score than 13-10 in a championship game.
Would you have the guts to pick Indiana if they play again?
Not at all.
Nope.
Not at all. I think that Ryan Day getting to see that defense up close and personal is going to be beneficial. And if they do match up again, I think he'll have some tricks up his sleeve to be able to get after them.
All right, let's go to the SEC game. The storyline obviously was the rushing yards for Bama, or very much lack thereof. What do we make of that? Is it just this team doesn't run the ball, or do you think Kalen DeBoer's got a physicality problem in that program?
I think it's both, but I'm way more concerned with Ty Simpson. He hasn't had a good game in a month.
Yeah.
And I think that's starting to really show itself. When he was playing really well in kind of the beginning to middle part of their gauntlet, right? Like the game against Vanderbilt, he was fine. The game against Missouri, he made a couple of really impressive throws. But his last, what I would call even remotely good game was, ironically, against you guys in LSU. But that was a month ago. I mean, he didn't play great in the Iron Bowl. He certainly didn't play well this weekend. He didn't even play great in the layup game. I'm really concerned with what's going on there because we knew they couldn't run the ball. Like, I did not think they were going to all of a sudden be able to run against Georgia, but I did think Ty Simpson would be a lot better. I also thought Ryan Williams would be a lot better this year. Remember this time last year when we were throwing him in conversations with Jeremiah Smith?
Yeah.
Boy, how silly do we look for that? He has been a complete non-factor, really, for the second half of this season. That's been a problem for Alabama.
Yeah, the ball, I mean, that touchdown, prospective touchdown, he just didn't even get a hand on it. It just went right through his mitts. It was weird to watch that in slow-mo. Yeah, he's had a tough go of it. What do you make of Georgia? Do you think they're the best team in the country, or Indiana still, or Ohio State?
I think Georgia is up there. I actually would have had Georgia at number 2. I would have dropped Ohio State a little bit more just for their performance. But I think that Georgia, since losing to Alabama, outside of the Georgia Tech game, which, that game was just a little weird. It's been weird. It's a rivalry game. But they played some really good football. And I think Gunnar Stockton's looked good. Defensively, they're super physical, man. And, a Kirby Smart defense, the fundamentals are great. They're going to tackle well. So I do think Georgia they're in a very small group right now of teams that it would not stun me if they are the ones hoisting the trophy at the end of this thing.
Texas Tech is on Indiana's side of the bracket. Would you be surprised if they got to the national final?
No, they're good. They're really, really good. The problem that they're going to run into is that they don't execute in the red zone very well. I mean, they should have beat BYU by 40 in the championship game and the first time they played. But they have a lot of offense. They have problems once they get into the red zone. And, once you start to play teams that are really, really strong defensively, Georgia, Ohio State, and Indiana, it's going to be really difficult to capitalize there. And you can't beat these teams with field goals. So you're going to need to be able to execute better. I think that's the one thing that's hampering them right now, because everywhere else they're good. That defense is fast. They tackle really well. The quarterback is good. I like Baron Morton. I think he's a really good player. I think they're like 98th in the country in red zone percentage, and that's not a championship level number.
All right, let's go to the bracket. Where were you on the Alabama, Miami, Notre Dame thing?
I thought Notre Dame should have gotten in. I mean, they've handled this with a ton of grace. LOL.
Not.
The way they've handled this has been like picture perfect what not to do.
Yep.
But I do think they should have been in. I mean, the model that we are currently using is not a good one. And, I like the group of 5. I went to a group of 5 school in Liberty, and had we been in the 12-team model a couple of years ago, Liberty would have been in the playoff, and that would have been awesome. But the reality is the college football playoff is about determining excellence, and inclusion should not be a primary factor, or inclusivity should not be a primary factor in determining excellence. And the fact that we got 2 G5 teams in while still also getting an ACC team in and knocking Notre Dame out in the process is a disaster.
Yes.
Because Notre Dame had a legitimate chance, I think, of contending. Maybe they're not going to get to the national final. They still have some flaws, certainly, and they haven't really played anybody good in 2 months. But they had enough there to say I would like to see them get an opportunity against an Oklahoma, a Bama, an Ole Miss, an A&M, whoever. Like, it would have been nice to see a rematch with A&M, or even a rematch with Miami for that matter. So the fact that we're now going to get 2 blowouts, because I don't think either Tulane or James Madison is going to keep it remotely close with Ole Miss or Oregon, is bad for the fans. It's great for like 12 hours on Twitter, but once the game kicks off, it's going to be brutal, and it's going to be over by the end of the first quarter. So it's a disaster that we've gotten here. But again, Notre Dame has made it very difficult to feel bad for them the way that they've handled things the last 18 hours.
So as far as the G5 reps, last year we looked up and saw Boise get a bye and went, oh, we got to fix this. And they did. Can they do anything about this?
I think what you're going to get is, you're going to get expansion, which I don't need more teams on. I just want good teams.
Yes.
I just want to cut it. 8 has always been the perfect number, but I think that you're going to see expansion, and then you'll see some play-in games, and then maybe you'll get a guaranteed 1 G5 team in there, and then if you have a situation which feels like a once in a blue moon, where you get a G5 team that is legitimately ranked inside the top 12. Maybe you get something like that, kind of like what Cincinnati was a couple of years ago. But I do think that they're going to eventually whittle their way out of having to put 2 G5 teams in. And I think this is just a really weird circumstance of events that happened this year, and the ACC completely screwed it up. It's totally their fault. But I do think moving forward, if both teams get blown out, which I expect them to, there's going to be some serious conversation about maybe moving them to their own final, or just, hey, we're not going to get you in ours.
That works for me. Get him out. Don't need to see him ever. That's my feeling on the whole deal. All right. Where would your Heisman vote go?
I think it would go to Mendoza. Diego Pavia's been fun. I did laugh at Johnny Manziel tweeting that fade should not be a Heisman moment. Like Pavia didn't hit a Heisman moment for basically a forward lateral against Kentucky 2 weeks prior. I think, though, when you take into consideration what Mendoza did against that particular defense, I would give it to Fernando Mendoza. But this has been a tough year for the Heisman, man. No one's really stood out because no one's really played good teams.
Who do you like to win the whole thing? We'll talk about it matchup by matchup when that time comes. But right now, looking at the bracket, who do you like?
I still like Ohio State. I think second in that conversation would be Georgia, then Indiana. So those would be my top three. But I think Ohio State's going to get it done. There's something about Ryan Day in big games when he's coaching for a championship. We saw it last year. I think his offense is the best in the country when he's in his bag play calling wise. So I think it'll be Ohio State.
Can you assure me that neither Texas A&M nor Ole Miss will play for the national championship?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know that Ole Miss has it in them to win multiple games, and we've seen what happens when Texas A&M plays competent competition, and they're going to start playing great teams the rest of the way. So no, I don't think either of those teams will be in. Georgia, yes. Ole Miss or Texas A&M, no. You'll be fine there.
Yeah, I'm fine with Georgia. Ole Miss and A&M are my only rooting interest here. Anybody else, I'm fine with. But those two teams, I can't have advancing to the final. That's where I'm standing. All right, Denton, we appreciate the time, man. Have a great week.
Yep, 100% appreciate it.
Denton Day, SiriusXM's college football overtime with us on Mondays. I want to go. I think we talked about this. Did we talk about Matt Campbell on Friday?
That's for Penn State, right?
Yeah, he took the Penn State job. Maybe we didn't talk.
I don't think it was a not, but I know we talked about.
But I just
job.
don't understand the love affair that the national media has with Matt Campbell. I'm going to pull up his record here. And I understand fully that he's at Iowa State. Like, I get the fact that he's at Iowa State and that's not Ohio State. I get it. But I look at his win-loss record and I go backward. Like 8-4, 11-3, 7-6, 4-8, 7-6, 9-3, 7-6, 8-5, 8-5, 3-9. Like, there's no. He had an 11-win season 2 years ago. They won the Pop-Tart Bowl. I'm struggling to find the reason why everyone should be so infatuated with a Matt Campbell product. He's 50-40 in the Big 12. He's playing Baylor and TCU and Kansas State and Oklahoma State, and like he's going 5-4, 5-4 every year. Like they were 4-8 a few years ago. I'm struggling to understand why everyone thinks Matt Campbell's such a great coach.
So you're telling me that Penn State basically signed the Big 12 version of James Franklin?
Well, Chris Marler's saying who should they hire? He's texting me who should they hire. He's like their 11th choice. I understand. I'm not suggesting that Penn State shouldn't have hired him. I just don't understand all the college football national people are like, oh, Penn State got the best hire of the bunch. It's like, really?
Yeah.
The guy that usually goes 8-4 at Iowa State is this like the belle of the ball?
It's a lateral move for sure. Recruits. They have no recruits coming in, so you gotta I'd say.
Who knows? I think Penn State's a great job. I think that they probably took a step down in coach here. Maybe Matt Campbell shows up there and wins a national championship, and I'm an idiot. I'll be thrilled to say it. But like,
you'll be fine. That's not happening.
I don't. His record's not that good. It's 72-55.
Yeah.
At Iowa State. Whatever. All right, let's come back and close it out next.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
Marucci Hitter's House still open for business. If you're looking to get some deals on your baseball, softball equipment, Marucci Hitter's House is open until December the 14th. You got 6 more days. Runs through Fridays. You can get huge discounts on Marucci, Victus, Balm, Lizard Skins. Go on the Marucci campus tour. You get 20% off the Hitter's House that same day. Looking for footwear? They got cleats. They got trainers. So on and off the field, you are set like the pro. Got to go check out the new bats. They got Marucci's Reckless and the Nova Lit from Victus. You can take them in the cage, take some hacks there at Marucci as well. So if you've got a youth baseball player, youth softball player in your house looking for great deals on great Christmas gifts, the Hitter's House at Marucci open until Friday at 6 p.m. It's the Hitter's House at Marucci.
My father, J.B. Faugu, had a vision of growth for First American Bank and the communities we serve. The bank's foundation was built on his legacy of compassion, loyalty, and dedication. Through his years of leadership, First American has prospered to heights even J.B. could not have imagined. I know my father would be extremely proud of the customer service and financial stability that First American provides to Southeast Louisiana. We continue to thrive because of the legacy of J.B. Faugu.
After a decade of working in private duty nursing, I know how hard it can be to find compassionate care for the ones that you love the most. So I started Decision Critical, a premier concierge nursing agency, so we can take care of you wherever you are. Our highly skilled nurses provide exceptional care from the comfort of your own home with personalized packages for short-term, long-term, or even around-the-clock care. Visit us at decisioncriticalbr.com and give us a call today to get started.
South Louisiana, it's turnaround season, and River Parish Contractors is calling in the best of the best. We're hiring pipe fitters, iron workers, boiler makers, combo and structural welders, rig welders, carpenters, crane operators, dirt operators, and more. If you're ready to work, ready to earn, and ready to build something that lasts, call Big Jake at 318-547-1000 or go to rpcontractors.com. River Parish Contractors. Let's get building.
It's time for Christmas on the River, Cajun style. Join us for the 35th Annual Festival of the Bonfires, December 13th through 15th at Lutcher Park in St. James Parish. Enjoy great food, live music, local crafts, Santa's Very Merry Forest, and carnival rides. Plus, we'll light a new bonfire on Friday and Saturday in preparation for the arrival of Papa Noel. The 2024 Festival of the Bonfires is sponsored by First American Bank and Trust. Log on to festivalofthebonfires.org for more information.
Sometimes you ignore the signs, even when they're right in front of you. Problem gambling isn't always easy to spot. Know the signs. Set your limit. Learn more about healthy gambling habits by visiting us online or text or call for free confidential help now.
I'm Lawyer Locke Meredith. If you're battling an insurance company because of a wreck not your fault and they're not calling you back or being fair, whether you hire us at all, give us a call, 272-5555, or email Locke Meredith, Sean Fagan and Associates. You have nothing to lose.
Hello, I'm Collins Meredith. If you've been injured on the job, you likely have a workers' compensation claim, but you may also have a tort claim, which opens up significant recovery.
This is the Hunt Palmer Show on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
A little bit of surprising news to me, at least, coming down the Twitterverse. The college football transfer portal going to be opening up here. And Ahmad Bro, LSU defensive tackle, plans to enter the transfer portal according to Hayes Fawcett of On3. Bro's played in 24 games in 2 years. He's made 36 tackles. He really kind of broke into the rotation last year as a true freshman at defensive tackle and was certainly a contributor on this team. You had a defensive front that certainly rotated through Bernard Gooden and Jacobian Guillory and Dominic McKinley. But Gooden played, Bro played a good bit, and looks like he may be headed elsewhere. A little bit surprising. I'm curious if the lack of stability at a defensive line coach may have something to do with that. Ahmad Bro played in high school for Kyle Williams at Ruston, and then Kyle Williams came in as the defensive line coach at LSU for this year. Now Kyle Williams is going to be moving on with Elijah Robinson coming in to coach the defensive line, and maybe that had something to do with it. Maybe he's just looking for a fresh start. I'm not really sure, but Bro, I would think would be a likely starter on next year's team on the defensive line. Bernard Gooden will be moving on. Jacobian Guillory is out of eligibility, so you think that he and McKinley are probably the odds-on starters. Defensive tackle, but it looks like he's going to try elsewhere. I'm surprised by this.
I am too, but to add on to your point about the day before he posted a picture of him and Kyle Williams on his Twitter page, so does that have that may have something to do with it? But yeah, man, but I kind of, you kind of get the writing on the wall why he would leave in a sense, because you bring in Richard Anderson, you bring in Deuce Geralds, you're bringing a bunch of these guys, and they're probably going to be in the portal, so you kind of expect somebody to leave.
I mean, look, nobody putting their name in the transfer portal is stunning.
Yeah.
It's just that it's never stunning. It can be a negotiating ploy. It can be just an opportunity to cover your bases. You never know anybody that's going to stay anywhere. So, it's nothing's ever stunning, but when you see a starter hop in, your eyes perk up a little bit. And Ahmad Bro is basically a starter for this LSU team, so that's a bit of a blow. You're going to have to fill a lot of holes in the transfer portal coming up with this first Lane Kiffin roster. And maybe Ahmad Bro comes back, but you feel like that's it's unlikely when you go into the portal. So that's the news of the day. That just broke. We'll have a story up at LouisianaSports.net here shortly. But Ahmad Bro reportedly entering the transfer portal, according to Hayes Fawcett of On3. All right, take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Take it or leave it.
Presented to you by Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, crafted by America's oldest brewery. Today's hottest stories in sports, news, and sometimes even Hunt's life. The question is, will he take them or leave them?
Flight by Yingling, the next generation of light beer, 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, all the flavor you're looking for a delicious beer, and all the benefits you're looking for from a light one. It's Flight, the next generation of light beer.
Okay, so Colts quarterback Daniel Jones tore his Achilles yesterday after playing on a broken tibia on the other leg. The Colts also traded 2 first-round picks a month ago to acquire Sauce Gardner from the Jets. Are the Jets feeling rich today? Take it or leave it.
I'll take it. They got a lot of picks. They got a lot of picks. Now, Sauce Gardner's a heck of a player. I guess you can't really look forward to an Achilles tear, and that doesn't necessarily affect the Jets. But, yeah, it's tough for the Colts, who've had such a good start to the season, been so good running the football. Their defense has been good and improves with Sauce Gardner, and then quarterback goes down. That's a huge bummer, no doubt, and that shakes things up in the AFC in a big way.
Oh, it does, and another thing that shook the AFC up, that kind of has to do with the Colts, too. So Patrick Mahomes throws 3 INTs last night, and the game-sealing INT was dropped by no other than Travis Swift. Is this the end of the Chiefs dynasty? Take it or leave it.
I will take it.
I'll take it.
I don't know that I'm betting on the Chiefs anytime soon to win the Super Bowl. They certainly could. They scored 10 points last night, 3 interceptions, as you mentioned. They're 6-7.
6-7.
Just feels like, I don't know what that means.
It means nothing.
I know. But you're like, I mean, you got coming up. You've got some tough games for the Chiefs. They've got to play the Chargers. They got to play the Broncos coming up in a couple of weeks as well. So Broncos. I just don't think the Chiefs are going to make the playoffs. And Andy Reid is not going to coach forever.
No.
And Travis Kelce's done.
He's done.
And their defense is still really good. Even though Chris Jones didn't have a monster year this year. But I think that their run here is kind of come to a close.
Yeah, and to piggyback off that, reason why I even talked about the Colts was the team that beat the Chiefs was the Houston Texans. So the Colts are having a mid-season collapse as the Texans and the Jaguars they're basically going to run off with the division at this point. So speaking of another division, Jaden Daniels, unfortunately LSU legend, Heisman winner, re-injured his elbow yesterday as the Commanders got dominated by the Vikings.
Yeah.
Should the Commanders have sat Daniels for the rest of the season? Take it or leave it.
Take it.
I'll take it.
You got Daniels out there playing hurt. Joe's out there, slinging around against Buffalo. I mean, these guys. It's so sad. Like, those two guys are my biggest investment in the NFL, and they're this year's just a complete waste. Just a complete wash. And this is of course a year where the Bengals get off to a hot start. They're 2-0. Never 2-0. They're always 0-2. They're 2-0. And then the Chiefs are falling apart, and you're like, okay, this is the Bengals, let's go. And they stink. He gets hurt. So that stinks. And then, of course, Washington, you feel like trying to follow up that great run last year to the conference championship game, and nope, can't get your quarterback healthy, and your defense stinks.
And also, Malik Neighbors goes down.
Yeah.
Brian Thomas Jr. having a bad year. It's not really looking too good for the LSU guys in the league at the moment.
It is not.
But that's it for take it or leave it.
That is it for take it or leave it. I guess Tyron got out right in time. We'll retirement there.
Literally. Whoa. I can't do all that because, hey, Tyron, you could be on this 3-win team right now and ride the boat. We're on the suck train right now. You could have been on here, bro.
Big win for St. Aug back on Friday night against Curtis at the buzzer.
Hunt, it's a big win. I got all these Aug people in my family, all these Aug. They've been talking. They've been chirping. This is the first time they made it since 1970, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, bro, you got to go see the beast. You won the game, but you got to go see that beast.
Got to go see Carr.
Yeah, you got to see that beast in the dome. So
They had 15 guys sign a scholarship.
15 guys.
That's crazy that Hog hadn't been to the dome in that long. They had
Yes.
Tyrann Mathieu. They had Leonard Fournette, Trey Turner.
But, Hunt, you would think they've been there sooner, how much their alums talk. Oh, you would think St. Aug was like, you would have thought they'd been sooner. So
how did they not go to the dome when they had Leonard Fournette at running back, Trey Turner on the offensive line, and the big dude?
Christmas? Was it Christmas?
They had no.
Did he play at Texas?
No, he played at LSU. They had 2 LSU linemen.
Oh my goodness, I know you're talking about
Adrian McGee.
I can't tell you his name. I know you're talking about. They had a guy named Stanley Morgan at receiver that was a monster who went to. I think he played at Nebraska, who was really good. But no,
was Adrian McGee at St. Aug with Trey Turner?
No, they had a dude named DeAndre Christmas who was a beast when I played.
I'm looking at he was from Franklinton. I can't think of the other linebacker. Somebody in the the other offensive lineman. Literally, it was Trey Turner and another LSU guy on one side of the line, and then they were seniors and Fournette was a freshman. But still, that's still good enough to win some games.
Well, you gotta see that beast. Good luck.
Yeah, Carr's tough. All right, that's it for this Monday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show. Appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Talked a lot of LSU football. Talked some Saints winning for a change. You can catch that at Hunt on Saints, LSU stuff at Hunt on LSU. I also chatted with Denton Day about the college football playoff. I gave my thoughts on the college football playoff as well. Tomorrow's show, we'll have Colin Jeter. We'll have Glenn West talking Tigers. We'll also chat with Sharif Ishak on the Saints. Matt's going to drive you home next on After Further View. Hope everyone has an awesome and a safe Monday evening. We're back tomorrow, 1 o'clock, for a Tuesday edition of the Hunt Palmer Show.
The Hunt Palmer Show.
In South Louisiana, you can always count on good people coming together to help our children.
At Dream